Hey everybody, this is Matthew with Forging Your Legend, where we help people turn their toughest battles into the greatest legends. I'm out on a brisk walk today, enjoying nature, and making a video for you about why it is that some people are so vehemently opposed to the idea that brain retraining and other mind-body approaches can heal you. Now, I'm not making any medical claims here. I'm just going on my personal experience and the experience of literally tens of thousands of other people who've used these approaches and similar ones to heal. And by heal, I just mean they had a bunch of symptoms that were destroying their lives. Some of them bedbound or in the hospital, some of them managing to function but not very well. And now they're living their lives. They're healthy, they're happy, they're enjoying life again. That's not a coincidence. There's too many examples of that for it to be a coincidence. So why is it that some people, if you go on a chronic illness forum, for example, will literally attack you verbally if you suggest that brain retraining can help? And I think there's a few reasons. I think I understand this perspective and have empathy for it. So I'm not saying this to trash anybody. It's just to bring light to it so it might help some people. One reason is that often people have tried it. They've done some kind of brain retraining approach and it didn't get them what they wanted. It failed in some way, whether it was the program or the coach or something that they weren't aware of, that they needed to be doing differently or thinking about differently, or a block they didn't know how to get past or didn't even know was there. Any of 1,000 reasons could have affected it. But unfortunately, their experience was that it didn't work, which is a lot like going to a restaurant and ordering food and the food's bad and the service is bad. So you say, well, I guess all restaurants suck, when in reality, it's probably just the one restaurant, or maybe it's a chain of restaurants, but you don't know if you've just tried one or two. Now, another reason is that it can be really painful to get your hopes up and get them dashed. A lot of us, probably most of us on this journey, have had many times where we've let our hopes rise only to have them destroyed again when something that we were trying to do to get well didn't work. And that's heartbreaking. It destroys something in you after a while in a way that people who haven't been through that can't understand. It can engender a sense of learned helplessness or just a sense of cynicism and fatigue that is unlike anything else. And so we have to understand that sometimes for people it feels less painful to just give up and assume they can never do it than to open to the idea that maybe, just maybe, they can, because the potential for heartbreak is too much for them. And the responsibility of that, the weight of that responsibility that maybe if you do the right things, you'll get there, is too much to bear. And it's easier if they just assume it's outside of their hands and somebody else's hands, because then it's just easier to bear psychologically. Now, a third reason that this can happen has to do with people's trauma around how other people have perceived their condition and what they think brain retraining is telling them. And what I mean by that is, a lot of us, myself included, at some point were told, even by people close to us, that we were making it up, we were faking it, we were just trying to get something out of it, that we just needed to grow up, toughen up, whatever. It's all in our heads. And that's really painful, because while there are exceptions, there are people who are just malingerers. The vast majority of people, the vast majority, like 99.99% of people, are really genuinely struggling. But here's the thing, brain retraining is not telling you it's all in your head like you're making it up. It's telling you that all this stuff exists on the mind-body spectrum. The mind and body are not really distinct, and they are constantly influencing each other because they're one, basically. That's why the word mind-body is mind-body, not mind-body or mind-space-body, mind-body. And so you can have something that's very physiological, very real. It's not made up, but yet oftentimes the best way to change it actually comes down to what you do with your brain, what you do with your nervous system, because that indirectly or directly affects basically everything else in your reality. So nobody that I know in this community is telling people you're making it up. It's simply that if you don't get your brain in line, you can't really do anything else. But if you do get your brain in line, then everything else can open up. And sometimes you do need to do other things. Sometimes it's not just a brain retraining matter. Sometimes you need to add some other things to assist in your recovery. But I'm simply saying nobody's telling you it's all in your head. It's a real thing that you're dealing with, and your brain is probably the most powerful force you have to change it. Now, there are also people who are simply lazy, or they're professional victims, you might call them. People who don't want to do the work, or they have a story that they're invested in where life's against them, God hates them, nothing ever works out for them. But the vast majority of people are probably just dealing with one of the first three issues. Or sometimes you'll get people who are kind of on the logic train, where they just logically have swallowed the medical model and they're just not open-minded enough to understand the connection between things. But between all of these reasons, you have a pretty good idea of why people are so resistant to the idea that brain retraining can heal you. So if you're in the camp that has been helped by brain retraining and you're encountering these people, be compassionate, but stick to your truth. And if you're one of those people who has tended to think that it's a scam, I just invite you to be open-minded about the fact that this may actually be your answer, or a part of your answer, and you may need to come back and give it another look. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, give it a like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, etc. Reach out to me if you need some help. I'd be happy to assist you. You can find more at forgingyourlegend.com. Thanks so much, and make it an amazing day.